So tell me, what's the usual cycle in a Mario game? Well, everything is going A-OK, then Princess Peach gets captured and Mario usually goes and rescues her. But while he rescues her, a bunch of baddies hired by Bowser are trying to stop Mario in his heroic quest. And when I say a bunch of baddies, I really mean a bunch, like a lot. Bowser really has a wide array of creatures that work for him. Turtles, bullets, fishes, many more, I can't even name it. Some of those enemies can be pretty tricky to beat, but some others are completely dumb and pretty much pointless. But you know, which ones are the best and which ones are the weakest? This is a daring task to analyze all those enemies, but you know what? I got reinforcement. Hey TetraBitGaming, what's up dude?
Yo, what's going on, Nico?
What do you say we count down the top 10 weakest Mario enemies here, and then we do the top 10 strongest ones on your YouTube channel right after?
You know what? That sounds like a plan, Mr. Barbecue.
Alright, then we're set. Hey, I'm Nico.
And I'm TetraBitGaming.
And here's the top 10 weakest Mario enemies. I feel like this list has to start off with a classic Mario enemy. While we think of classic Mario enemies, we usually think of the Goomba and the Koopa Troopa. The latter one interests me, cause you know, I feel like Koopa Troopas are kind of weak enemies, but there's one in particular that is even weaker. The green one! In classic Mario games, they both walk from left to right, but as it approaches a pit, the red Koopa Troopa at least has the decency of turning the other way instead of falling down a pit and dying. The green one cannot do that. He just walks in a set direction and will only turn if something is blocking his path. Plus, to defeat the Koopa Troopas, Mario only has to jump on them and they instantly hide in their shells. Once they're inside, you can take their shells and kick them on other enemies. That's pretty weak. One of Mario's main means of transportation is the warp pipe. I mean, it has been a staple of the Mario games ever since the very first one, before Mario was even called Super Mario. Those pipes have evolved a lot over the years, some now being transparent, other being made out of rabbits? What? Anyway, my point is, putting an enemy inside that pipe seems like a great idea, but of all things that Bowser could have put inside that pipe, he decided to put piranha plants. These plants are going up and down the pipe, hoping to bite Mario's butt. The thing is, while Mario is on top of the pipe, or you know, just touching the pipe on its side, the plants gets shy and doesn't come out anymore. I mean, take a look at Mario, standing on that pipe, ready to get bitten. No, nothing's happening and nothing is gonna happen. What good are those enemies if they just come out when they're far away from Mario? They're a total joke.
In Super Mario Bros. 3, there were some giant blocks that came out of the ceiling trying to crush you to death. These guys were named Thwomps. And back then, little did we know that they actually have siblings that are also made of stones that were first introduced in Super Mario 64, the Whomps. As opposed to their blocky friends, Whomps actually have arms and legs so they can move around the field. You know, not only going up and down. Now that's definitely an improvement. The only downside, however, is that they don't use their arms or legs to punch or kick Mario. No, instead they try to crush him with their face. The problem is that when they do try to do this, they are stuck on the floor for a few seconds, desperately trying to get up. But what's that on their back? A giant cross made of bandages? Wonder what that could be. You guessed it, it's their weak spot. Now it's already bad for an enemy to have a weak point in the first place, but it's even weaker that you have to expose it in order to attack.
In Super Mario World, at one point you eventually reach a forest area named the Forest of Illusion. It is in that area that you will meet Wigglers. Wigglers resemble caterpillars. They're yellow, they're moving slowly, they just seem to enjoy life. But then you jump on them and you will feel their wrath. And by feel their wrath, I actually mean that you will make them turn red and go a little bit faster. Are they more dangerous? Do they start breathing fire? Do they start to jump? Nope, they just go from left to right, but just slightly faster. To be quite honest with you, I actually feel bad jumping on them because they don't seem like bad guys, they just don't like being jumped on. And let's be honest, I'm sure we wouldn't like it either if we were in their shoe.
So far, all of the weak enemies that we've seen are alive and breathing creatures. Well, this next entry may not be like the previous ones because it actually lives inside of a cannon, waiting just to be shot off. I'm talking about bullet bills. As their name implies, they are just that, bullets. They wait to be shot at Mario, but most of the time the cannon shooting them is too high, so it won't even hit Mario in the first place. Now for this list, we're mostly talking about the original bullet bills because over the years, Bowser has become more creative, adding homing abilities and making them bigger and other stuff. He made them quite better, but if we look at the original one, it's quite weak. It doesn't fly out super fast, and Mario can even jump on it to defeat it. I mean, what good is a slow, predictable projectile that can be easily defeated?
Alright, the Mario universe has its share of spooky locations and spooky characters, but there's one common enemy that is supposed to be very spooky. The Boo! I mean, look at him, he's a ghost, and his name is Boo. Ghosts are spooky, Boo is spooky, but the thing is, Boos, they're not spooky, they are spooked by Mario. Looking at them! What's wrong with those guys? They're planning their attack on Mario, and as soon as he turns around, they stop and hide. Do you really think I don't see you because you're hiding behind your own arms? Are you dumb? These guys cannot be defeated easily, but they can't really attack you easily either, since they cannot make any move while you look at them. To get harmed by a Boo, you literally have to jump in his face. That's the only way, because you can actually just look at them forever and they'll never move an inch. What a disappointing ghost. You know, I was expecting something scarier.
While we're on the subject of spooky enemies, Big Boo's mansion from Super Mario 64 has a very terrifying look to it. I know I wouldn't want to spend my summer vacations at that resort for sure. I feel like the beds wouldn't be that comfy, and I don't really know why, but I feel like I'd be watched by someone. Or something. Oh, there you go. That has to be Mr. Eye. As his creative name implies, it's just an eye looking at you. If you let him look at you for too long, he shoots some sort of weird bubble out, and it can actually harm you. That cannot be good for you, buddy. You should see a doctor about that. To defeat Mr. Eye, all you have to do is run around him. He will keep looking at you and spin around at one point, and he's just gonna get dizzy and die. This guy is such a joke that they made a minigame out of killing him in Mario Party 3. That's pretty pathetic if you ask me.
This next enemy only appeared in one game, Super Mario 64, and for good reasons. Remember that red mechanical robot that you used to get up one level in Wet Dry Whirl? Well, it was named HEAVE-HO. This guy chases Mario around so that he stands on the footprints on its pan thingy, and once Mario stands on top of that, he just flips it and throws Mario in the air. If you miss your angle, you will be sent flying and you will take damage from falling down, not from the enemy itself. But seriously though, I never considered the HEAVE-HOs to be bad guys or enemies. In my eyes, they were just a gimmick added to the level to go higher and higher and explore more of it. Oh, and did I mention that they quickly run out of battery juice and they just die there for a couple of seconds? Yes, they have to wind up that key on their back to get moving again. I mean, Bowser should have put a better battery on their back, because an enemy that dies every 5 seconds is not very threatening. Alright, I feel like we've looked too far to find bad enemies. I think we should just go back to the basics of Mario for a second there. What's the first enemy that you encounter in the original Super Mario Bros? The Goomba. But the Goomba isn't that bad in itself. I mean, it has evolved and can now transform into Cat Goomba, Tanuki Goomba, and much more. But there's one transformation that is pretty bad though, Micro Goomba. They first appeared in Mario 3, where they would try to prevent you from jumping properly. Then, in Super Mario 64, they appeared again, but this time, they couldn't do anything. They could try to run at you and headbutt you, but you wouldn't get hurt from them. Then they were back in the new Super Mario Bros. Series, and once again, they cannot harm you. They just prevent you from jumping properly. But a quick ground pound was everything that was needed to get rid of them. They really are weak enemies. Okay, so what can be weaker than an enemy that cannot hurt you by touching you? Well, what about an enemy that cannot hurt you by touching you, that is actually scared of you and runs away? Yes, this enemy exists in Super Mario Galaxy in the form of the Beetle. Flipbug is its name, and running away from you is its game. When Flipbug first sees Mario, you can instantly see the panic in its eyes. It just doesn't want anything to do with Mario. And then Flipbug runs away. And he often stumbles and falls flat on its back, revealing his weak point. Killing Flipbug does not even require hitting the weak point. You can just jump on him at any time, or spin attack, and pretty much you just touch him and he dies. This guy is really pathetic, it's almost sad. Flipbug truly is the worst Mario enemy of all time. Alright guys, so that was our list of the weakest Mario enemies, but be sure to tap the screen right now to see the list of the strongest enemies in Mario that we did on TetraBitGaming. Thanks a lot for being part of this, Tetra, that was pretty cool.
And thanks for having me on board, Nico, it's been a great honor. I will hopefully see you guys in a bit.
And yeah, just tap the screen now, I'll see you right now.